What's happening, party people? There's something about asking for permission that absolutely drives me insane. The idea of that, it really infuriates me. Like, I can't imagine having to go and ask someone for permission to take a day off, or to ask for permission to be sick, to ask for permission to have lunch, or to take a vacation, to have a special day, to ask someone. I'm a grown up asking another grown up for permission. That idea has always really irritated me. So, in exchange for that, I have decided to walk the path of entrepreneurialism. And in doing so, it has taught me so much about freedom and what real freedom is, and the cost that one has to be willing to pay in order to achieve it. I remember vividly, I was doing a 2-city tour, no big deal. It was 4 weeks here, 4 weeks there. I was the lead in this particular play. I was in every scene. Play doesn't happen without me on stage, period, end of story. The play was, we were killing it. The reviews were off the chart. We sold out the entire run in both cities. It was a wrap. So I'm working my butt off. We're doing 8 shows a week. So by the time we were getting ready to go to the second leg of the tour, I called my agent and said, hey, man, tell them I'd like a raise. And I gave them a specific number. And the way I came up with the number was I calculated the number of seats in the house. And it was literally about, I want to say about 2.5 to 3% of the daily ticket sales. Okay. It was not a game changing amount. I just felt like, hey, not only are we as an ensemble killing it, I'm carrying this show, and it's a lot of work. Okay. And you already ain't paying us nothing anyway. So I think the right thing to do, because we did sell it out. I thought for me, it was a fair question. Agent comes back. He says, hey, man, they said no. I'm like, okay, what else did they say? He's like, that's all they said was no. I was like, wait, hold on, time out. They didn't say, hey, we would love to, but the reason we can't is because we have to do it. He was like, no, they didn't offer no explanation. They said no. Now, as an actor, I had a contractual out. I can opt out of the second leg of the tour. And the reason that's built into a lot of those contracts is because if you get an offer for a television gig or a movie, you're going to take that because the money's too good. Like, you're going to take it. They understand it. But they never, ever conceived that an actor would do that unless they did have a movie or a television gig. I had no movie or television gig. I was like, I'm out, because I was not going to be disrespected. I just wasn't. I knew my value. I knew my worth. Like, when you put all of your time, energy, and effort onto beating on your craft, and you work on mastery, and you do it year after year after year after year after year after year, and you are a full-time working actor in one of the most competitive professions where it's 96% unemployment and 0.06% of the actors are making a full-time living, and you're making a full-time living, you better believe I knew my worth. So I was like, I'm out. Tell them I'm done. So my agent's like freaking out, like, what? Are you serious? Are you crazy? Like, no one's ever done that. I was like, just tell them. And them being the producers of the play. Producers come back. They say, hey, listen, you need to let him know that if he does this, he ain't working here no more. I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm a working actor. I'm going to keep working. Like, y'all are not the only game in town. So then the producers called the casting agents, because the way it works when you cast, there's a casting director that will select you as a person that they want to even see to get into the role. There's all these filters, right? So they call the casting agent to put pressure on me. So the casting agent gets involved. They're like, listen, you tell him that if he opts out of this, he's not working with us anymore. I said, yo, Drew, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make it very clear to them that this is a collaboration, that there's no one that's more important than the other. You can't do anything without me. I can't do what I do without you. This is a collaborative, creative process. So don't try to strong arm me. You go back and you tell them I'm out. As soon as we get done with the first leg, I'm going back to New York. I'm going back home. This is going on, ladies and gentlemen, all day, all freaking. It's my day off. We get one day off. We're doing 8 shows a week. We get one day off. And I'm spending my day off with this BS. Agent finally calls me back. This is like 5.5 hours later because I called him around noon. Day's about to close out. He says, hey, just want you to know. They said they're going to give you what you asked for. They just need you to they want you to sign, they want you to agree not to promote what that they're going to pay you. They're going to give you the raise. I was like, why did we have to go all through that? And they could have just said yes in the first place. Why? Because they don't respect you. So me talking to me now. Because they expect actors just to be grateful because we working, because they know how hard it is. But I knew my value. So there's always been something in me that understood if I'm going to make money, I want to make it on my terms. I want to do it so that I'm in alignment with my values and my principles. If you look at my resume from the plays that I've done, you'll understand what I'm talking about. I am most proud of the plays that I've done. Most proud of the work that I've done off Broadway and on Broadway. Most proud of the actors and the people that I've been able to be on these stages with. Actors that you all know. Because I came into it from a spiritual standpoint. Now, what is my point about the asking for permission? It drives me insane, the idea of that. Because I'm willing to pay the price for my freedom. I have tasted freedom. I've tasted it many times. And once you have that taste, once you've had that experience, once you've been able to bless other people with that transformational experience, your life will never be the same. It will never be the same. And so understanding that I was willing and am willing to do that, there's a positive anger that I tap into. My question to you is, are you tapping into your positive anger? What pisses you on? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you sick and tired of being overworked and underpaid? Are you sick and tired of having to negotiate where you're going to go out to eat because you got to look at your bank balance first? Are you sick and tired of not driving the car that you really want to drive, not living in the neighborhood that you really want to live in, not being able to send your kids to the schools that you really want to send them to? Are you sick and tired of being time broke, meaning that you have to exchange X amount of time for a certain amount of dollars every single week? And if you don't do that, your budget and your financial life will get turned upside down. What is the thing that pisses you on? I want you to tap into that because we're already coming up on the halfway point of the first quarter of 2025. We already all up in it. Already. January is gone. February halfway point is approaching fast. What are you doing differently in 2025? Are you just sitting around consuming? Some of y'all watching the Super Bowl right now. I ain't watching the Super Bowl. I watch the highlights. I ain't got time for that. I got goals and dreams. What about you? I'm like a dog after a bone. I ain't got no quit in me. I ain't got no never, I ain't never giving up. You understand what I'm saying? Like once you understand that you have a steel trap for a mindset and that you ain't never going to quit, you ain't never going to give up, there's something freeing about that. Because I got the right vehicle. I got the right business that I'm doing. I got the right message, the right values and principles that are in alignment with my own in order to bring impact to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And when you do that, it changes your whole financial destiny. That's where I'm putting my time, energy, and effort. How about you? What are you getting after this year? What's going to be different? Stop being a consumer. Start being a producer. Produce your schedule for the day. Produce your exercise regimen for the day. Produce the amount of reading you're going to do each day. Produce the amount of writing you're going to do each day. Produce the number of calls you're going to make each day. Produce the amount of effort, the amount of hours you're going to put into your work. What are you willing to give up? 3 things I want you to focus on. 3 things I want you to focus on. Discipline. Number 1, have the daily discipline that reaps multiple rewards towards your specific outcome, whatever the outcome is that you're committed to. Number two, I want you to understand and implement sacrifice. Discipline is not enough. You have to be willing to sacrifice. What are you willing to give up to go up? Are you willing to give up scrolling? Are you willing to give up all that leisurely time in front of the electronic income producers, whether it's your screen or your phone or the idiot box? And then the power of the will. Are you willing to impose your will on each day and attack each day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind? You willing to do that? Nothing's going to change until you do. Nothing. Make some powerful choices. And let's have a fantastic, ridiculous first quarter of 2025. What's the positive anger? What's that positive anger vein that you're tapping into? Let's go.